I had been invited to a party and arrived with another friend sometime prior to 11 p.m. It was at another friend's home. He had neglected to pay his water bill, so his water service had been turned off. I remember the water service because of my intense thirst, which is mentioned a little later. The beer, pot, and alcohol were flowing freely until around 2 am. I drank 5 to 6 bottles of beer along with 2 or 3 shots of whiskey. I let the friend I had arrived with know that I was ready to head home anytime. I took a seat. Within 5 minutes, I began to experience an unusual thirst. I got up from a seat to search for any kind of liquid. I remember standing in the kitchen, once again asking to go home. All of a sudden, I experienced an intense pain across my chest. The last thing I remember before I left my body was falling backwards onto the floor. I don't know how I knew, but I understood I'd had a heart attack, died, and left me body behind. All of a sudden, I was traveling through a tunnel at extreme speed so fast that I had a sickening feeling. Before I could adjust, I found myself in a very ornate light-filled room with a throne that was very high up. Once again, I had a sickening feeling, but one of a different kind. I wanted desperately to hide from the presence of God, but there was no place to go to get away from His presence. I was shown a review of my entire life, with joys, difficulties, sorrows, and everything in between. I saw myself being very kind to several people. I also heard unkind words I had spoken to others. I witnessed being ignored and ignoring others. I was shown a love that had not worked out. I really wasn't hearing words. It was more like telepathic communication, but there was no mistaking what was being communicated. I had no problem with understanding. God was not pleased by my life of alcohol and drugs. Several times, I had almost died because of prescription drugs. I was shown a place of intense horror. I was not seeing with my eyes, but in some other way. Just before being consumed, I was guided away by a kindly person I knew to be Christ Jesus. I was comforted and shown information that would be wiped from my mind until a future time. I found myself in the presence of many people that I knew. I was surrounded by unconditional love, and for lack of a better word, I was home. Then I was told to return to my life and assured that everything would work out. I resisted leaving by using my thoughts. At first, those around me gently tried to urge me to return. I communicated that I needed to stay. Then these people I knew and loved pleaded with me to return, and they were urgent. One by one, they approached me in a final attempt. I could see that I was causing them discomfort of some kind unknown, but understood by me. I could not harm these people. It seemed they had come to see me, but I could not go back with them at this time. I could to go beyond a certain point. I understood that I would see and be with all me relatives and friends at a future time. I must return and complete a prepared task or work that will change others. The work and change may be hardly noticeable, but it is work and change that God desires to take place. Just before entering the tunnel, it dawned on me that everyone I had just been with had passed away. I was rather shocked by this realization. Back through the tunnel, I traveled at a very great speed. My first sensation was of myself taking the deepest breath I had ever taken before or since. My chest expanded to its limit, and someone was about to pound with both fists on me chest. Everyone was talking at once, telling me they were just about to call an ambulance. I heard, "We thought you had a heart attack." I barely had the strength to talk. I asked for a towel because I was sweating profusely. I couldn't move on my own, so they moved me to a sofa. My life didn't change overnight, but over time, my life did start to take shape. It took another 14 years before I returned to the church.